It was forbidden today for anyone to carry heavy sticks or metal rods or pitchforks or gasoline in public in 27 settlements in South Africa where blacks have been killing each other for the last week and a half. The government gave police almost unlimited powers in these townships to disarm and separate the two vigilante armies of the black leaders who are rivals in negotiating the future of South Africa. Nelson Mandela of the African National Congress said it's not time yet to meet Chief Buthelezi of the Zulus. But speaking of the political negotiations with the white government, Mandela said, "We are the architects, and we are determined they will succeed." World Monitor's Simon Marks reports from Johannesburg.
The South African police resorted to shotguns in the Johannesburg township of Kagiso today, trying to separate supporters of the ANC and the Zulu group Inkatha. It was the 11th day of fighting, and with more than 500 dead, the government stepped in, returning to the police many of the powers they had under the state of emergency lifted just 2 months ago. Law and Order Minister Adrian Vlok announced the powers would be effective in 27 townships around Johannesburg.
Well, we really want to stop the violence. We are determined to stop it. And we intend to look very carefully at the perpetrators of violence. And we intend to really do our level best to remove these perpetrators of violence from the communities.
In Kagiso, the scenes the government wants to prevent took place again today, this time armed ANC supporters heading to a hostel housing migrant Zulu workers. With the hostel surrounded by barbed wire, the two sides were kept apart. From now on, the police can seize spears, knives and any other weapons being carried by supporters of either side. At the state president's office in Pretoria, after another unscheduled meeting with President de Klerk, Nelson Mandela condemned the government's actions.
It is not necessary to impose again a state of emergency anywhere in the country, because a state of emergency has shown that it is absolutely ineffective.
In the next few days, the government says it will drastically increase the police and army presence in the townships. They've also been granted a wide immunity from prosecution in powers that will remain in force for at least 3 months. In a statement issued tonight, the ANC said it viewed the emergency measures with concern, saying it wasn't convinced the police would act impartially in the townships. That's in stark contrast to yesterday, when Nelson Mandela called on the government to send more police in to try and stop the fighting. The government says if today's measures don't bring peace to the townships, stricter ones will soon be implemented. For World Monitor, I'm Simon Marks in Johannesburg.
That's all for this evening. Next week, all week, learning. I'm John Hart in Boston.